Hey everyone, this is Wilson from Ready Set Element. Today we have the great opportunity to check out Evan's van from Stories from a Van. We're going to leave his channel down below so you guys can check it out. He has really good informative videos on how he stealth camps throughout the cities, and it's just really cool to see his build. So thank you so much for meeting up with us today. So let's get into it.
So this is a van that I converted with my dad, and this is a van that I designed to be stealthy so I can live in cities. And so I actually spent about 2 years in this van between Santa Cruz and San Francisco. And so when you open the door, you can see right away that I have a lot of storage on the bottom. In the back I have a sink where I can also fold down the lid to create a desk. As you can see, I like having my clothes hung, so I have a closet there. And down here is all my storage. You know, I have a big compartment here. I can store a lot of big items there. On this side, I have, and this is my mat right here that I can fold out, and this looks like that, and that's where I sleep.
There you go.
And I have all my bedding stored in one of the cabinets back there.
Did you buy this mat, or is this something you guys...
I got this in Amazon.
Nice.
It was the perfect dimension to fit my van.
Yeah, and it doesn't take a lot of room from your van either.
Yeah, exactly. With the trifold, it's 75 inches long, so it's the size of a standard twin.
Nice.
So over here, I have, laundry stuff. That's where I put my dirty laundry, right there in that bin.
Oh, cool.
And then on this side, I have my toilet, and then just kind of like a random bin with, like cleaning stuff, toothbrushes, hand soap.
Dang, I didn't think you had a full-on toilet in here. That's really awesome. Look at that.
So, yeah, I mean, I can sit up straight, and then the roof doesn't hit my head. These are the lights that these 4 lights are pretty bright at night.
Wow.
And then over here, I can show you what it looks like when I fold this down. And yeah, like I can turn this into a desk. I just take this bin out like that, and I just like sit down. I flip this up.
So now you have more headroom, and you can put your legs out.
Scoot this up. You also have like a desk right here.
Wow, that's really cool.
I have outlets right here. So I have outlets I can charge my laptop or anything I need. USB port, charge my phone. I have a drawer right here, and this is where I have my toothbrush, razors, random stuff. I have my utensils like forks and knives.
I like the design you have for that. It's like,
this fits right in between my sink bowl right there, so it just takes up. I use up that empty space that you would otherwise lose out on.
Yeah.
There's even a little compartment I have right here that has these electronics, like charger, camera batteries, random stuff, tools. This is a simple lid. I would have towels right here, but I was doing laundry yesterday. But I have hand towels here. That's really handy whenever I brush my teeth.
Yeah.
My hands so wet, and then I would dry off right there.
You have plenty of space in here. You even have more storage. Look at that.
Yeah, this is a bin I just keep random. Just like clothes. I actually never touch this bin.
Yeah.
I could be utilizing this space a little more effectively, but yeah, my socks, underwear drawer in here. I have a little compartment here actually that I hold I have my little a little hot plate So you put whatever you want, any food that you want in here, and it goes on this hot plate. And then you have a socket, a cigarette lighter.
Yeah.
We can plug right there, and then it's already heating up.
That's cool.
So, and it only draws 75 watts, so
Okay.
it's a very low wattage. So I can run this and not have to worry about drawing too much from the battery. And then it can, if I'm cooking during the day, the solar is charging the battery anyways.
Nice.
And so it takes about 2 to 3 hours to get something hot. But hey, if you plan ahead,
I was gonna say.
get a meal ready.
There you go. That's really cool.
Yeah, I have like some books down here. I have The Alchemist.
There you go.
It's a good book. None of the stuff falls out.
Oh, I can see. That's really good.
So, my soap dispenser. This is the valve that I use to hook up my shower hose.
Oh, okay. So you can
so
shower in here too.
I could shower in here. I'm actually my feet. I'm actually sitting on top of the shower pan. But I actually use this more often when I'm cutting my hair and I need a hose out in the back to like wash my hair.
Yeah.
So I can just run this straight through the back when the back door open. So I
And you
keep
got your
that
covers
on most
there.
of the time, so I don't have privacy. This is my reading light. I use this at night, so I don't have these brighter ceiling lights on.
Nice. And now you and your dad built this van together, right?
Yeah. The whole everything. The only thing we didn't do was the upholstery on the walls. We got someone else to do that. Besides that, everything else we did ourselves.
Yeah.
All the paneling, the cabinets, the electronics.
How long did it take you guys to build this van?
So we worked on the weekends. We worked on Friday evenings to Sunday. So we had around 2.5 days each week that we would work on it. And it took us about 16 weeks.
16 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you guys know exactly kind of what you wanted to do with the van, or just kind of took some time to?
No, when we bought the van, we were thinking about getting someone else to convert the van, but then we decided on doing it all ourselves, and we didn't have a design drawn up when we bought the van. It was something that we kind of slowly figured out as we were trying to figure out like what to put in this van. And so I knew I didn't care to like stand up or crouch, because you can't fully stand up in this van. So I didn't mind having to crawl or just kind of sit like cross-legged.
Mm-hmm.
So that meant that I could sacrifice the whole floor and create that, make that all storage.
Yeah, and I was gonna say you have lots of storage, and it looks really neat because everything kind of just folds away. And you can put it away there, and I really like how you have, everything has like two functions. It seems like you can use one thing for one thing, and you can convert it to another thing.
The feature where I can like put my legs in like this and like use it as like a desk was actually not intentional.
That was an accident.
it was an accident how well that kind of worked out.
Those are always the best creations, right?
Yeah, it's like
by mistake.
I didn't even think of it like this way, but it turned out that way.
Hey, well, we wouldn't have known. That looks like that's something that like took some time to think.
I was like, no, I'll just not say it. Just pretend that it was something that was intentional.
It's really cool, and I like that you actually get to just hang your clothes, because I'm with you where I don't really like to fold, and you kind of lose things, and they get wrinkly and stuff. So
I know a lot of people.
Nice.
A lot of people say like, that's a lot of space that you're taking up with just clothes. But I'm like, hey, I mean, if I didn't want my clothes to take up that much space, I can just take it out.
It's true.
The only space that it's truly taking up is the hanger up there. But I don't, I can easily take that out. That was actually a really simple modification.
Yeah.
That I just screwed on that bar into the ceiling, and I can easily take that out if I wanted to. But no, I like the closet. It helps me keep organized, and I live in the city, so I'm like, I'm going to work every day.
Yeah, you gotta
I'm
look
like,
good, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta know what you're gonna wear.
Mm-hmm.
And I see you have a ceiling fan up here, right? Like an extractor.
I do. Yeah, so I can open this all the way up. What I do is, when I flip this on, I want to make sure that my windows are open on the front.
Oh yeah, nice. So you crack these windows down a bit?
I roll these windows down, and then these wind deflectors block the fact that my windows are down, and this is where the air gets drawn into.
I can hear it working there.
Yeah, I only turn the fan on when it's hot, but it also acts as a vent at night. So every night I crack the vent open, so I have some ventilation.
And that doesn't seem to draw too much power from your solar setup, right?
Oh no, it's not at all. I think it's only like 20 or 30 watts, so it doesn't draw that much. And I have 2 solar panels, each 100 each, so I have a total of 200 watts. And this is more than enough power. I can probably get by with just one of these panels. Yeah, so let me show you. Show you the back. Oh, look at all the dust.
Yeah. Wow.
So this is the entire electrical system is located here. So the solar panels, I have wires from the solar panels coming down through the ceiling down to here, and there's actually my charge controllers right here. In this upper cabinet, and then from the charge controller it goes down here this way and to my gel battery. So these are the two the leads for the charge controller, and from there the wires go to these two distribution blocks, these bus bars, and then that supplies power to all the different parts of my system. So here's my fuse block that I have for all my 12 volt DC appliances, and then all these are separately fused accordingly to what they need. And then I have I have them labeled as to what the devices are.
Nice, that's super smart. Oh, this is really impressive, Evan.
And everything is either fused or has a breaker. So I have a breaker in between, my battery and this fuse box. I have I actually put this breaker in a very specific location. The reason why it's actually here is because when I'm in my van, this is actually the whole system cut off, where it's cut off for the battery. So there's the positive lead to the battery, it goes here, and then it goes to the positive bus bar. So I positioned it here because when I'm in my van, I can actually reach my hand through and flip it off.
Nice.
And then flip it back on.
Yeah.
This was something that I thought like I needed to do more often when, maybe there was something that would draw the battery maybe overnight and I didn't need it on. So I thought that I would have to turn it off every time I go to sleep or something like that. But no, I've actually usually just keep that on. But if I want to like perform like any like electrical work, that's where I just cut off power to the whole system like that. This right here is my automatic charging relay. So I did a video about electrical systems, and I actually would not recommend using something like this. So basically what this does is it allows your battery to be your house battery. So again, this battery is separate from the battery that starts your engine in your car. This allows this device is supposed to charge your house battery while you're driving by connecting the engine battery with your house battery. It senses a so you can if I open this, You see there's two positive leads.
Yeah.
This is the positive lead from the engine battery, and this is the positive lead for the house battery.
The house battery.
And so this device is supposed to sense a charging voltage from the engine battery, because when you start your car, your alternator kicks in and starts charging the battery, so the voltage should go up. And so it senses that voltage increase, and then what it'll do, it will latch the two batteries together. The issue with the relay is that you're linking up a battery with two different chemistries, because it's not the same type of battery. They're both, in this case, I have a gel battery, which technically is the same, is a lead acid, but it's still not the same chemistry.
Gotcha.
And so that's not the best to do that. And so what I would actually recommend in place of this is something called DC to DC charger.
DC to DC charger.
So it's basically like a charge controller for your solar panel, because what a charge controller does is it grabs the voltage from the solar panels and converts it to a proper charging voltage for your house battery. And that's what a DC to DC charger does, except with two batteries as opposed to a solar panel, two battery.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, so those are the wires. There's the wires. I have 3 wires. I think one is ground, one negative, and one positive, and 2 of these wires travel all the way through
to the main battery of the car?
Yeah, it goes along the floor underneath my floorboard.
Yeah.
And then so this is the plumbing, and so I have 2 fresh water tanks. Each of these tanks are 7 gallons, so I have a total of 14 gallons of fresh water.
How long does that last you?
I only use water to like brush my teeth, and you don't really use that much water to brush your teeth. So I also like sometimes wash my hair, but it lasts me about 2 or 3 months.
2 to 3 months.
And so both of these are fresh. My gray water tank is underneath my van. You wouldn't be able to get a good angle here. You would have to
get it from the
get
side.
On the side, exactly. But yeah, I draw water from one of these tanks, and it goes to my water pump, and then my accumulator, and then it goes to my my faucet. And now the great thing about the faucet that I have is that it has a built-in switch. So whenever I turn the faucet on, it also switches on the pump.
Nice.
So the pump is not always being powered. It only gets powered when it's necessary.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I know you had mentioned when you cut your hair back here.
Yeah, I actually don't have my mirror because I recently moved back, and so I would cut my hair at my parents' place, as opposed to like, because you have to find an isolated place where like you could have a half-naked person cutting their hair.
Cutting the hair.
So I have a mirror that I would put on right here, and it's like a scissor mirror that comes out.
And
I usually have a stool that I would sit on right here, like a tri-leg stool.
Yeah.
And I just connect my buzzer to my outlet right here, and I just cut my hair.
Nice.
I use that mirror, and then the scissor mirror to I look at that mirror, and then I have the scissor mirror to kind of see the back of my head.
Hey, and you do a good job, by the way.
Thank you.
That's really awesome. And you have thought of everything for your van, and so now you've lived out of this for a little over 2 years.
Yeah, so
About
I was in San Francisco for a year, and I was in Santa Cruz for almost another year, so about 2 years in this van, full time. And so yeah, I don't really travel a whole lot. This van has actually never left the state. And I've probably only done, I think I've only done 1 or 2 camping trips with this van. So this is a city van.
Van.
Yeah, so this
this is perfect.
You know, it usually stays on the streets or in a parking lot most of the time. And what I do is I try to walk or take public transportation as much as possible. So I try to drive this car as low as possible.
Yeah, and it does great. I mean, have you ever had any like window knocks or anyone like know that you're sleeping in the car? Because I'm sure it's happened to people.
So yeah, so I have two occasions it's happened. It's really interesting. So the first time it happened, so I was in San Francisco for a year, and it's only happened to me once, and it's happened in a neighborhood that I would usually park. So there was a specific street that I would park on every single night. I am, like I'm too lazy to try to like rotate and do all that stuff. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
if I can keep a van parked in one spot and not move it, then great. And so I push my luck sometimes. And so I found a good spot. I'd park every night. Never had problems. But it has street sweeping twice a month.
Oh.
So I always have to move my car for at least 2 nights a month. And so one of those nights, I parked on the street that I didn't usually park, and I parked closer to homes than I usually would.
Okay.
And that's where I got a knock. It was 9:30 in the morning, and I got a loud knock. It was like, my head was right here, next to the sink, and then the knock was like right here along the back of it. And I was like, and at first I was like, what's going on? I'm like, and I was like, oh man, is this the first time?
Is this the first?
Yeah. And like I peeked through my curtains, the curtains that block the light from the front of my car to my sleeping area, and then I would peek through, and I saw from my side view mirrors that it was a cop.
Oh.
And so like I hop into my driver's seat, roll down the window. And the gentleman was nice. He was saying like, yeah, we just got a call from someone, and we're just asking you to move. And I was scared at the time because it was the first time I got knocked on, and but then he just told me to just move along, and then other than that, but the issue is that spot that I got knocked on was just around the corner to my usual spot that I'd park.
You're just a little closer to the neighborhood.
Yeah, I was like, dang, I'm like, I just blew it I blew my cover, right?
Oh.
And so I was too scared to park in my usual spot, and so I found an alternative spot that was not too far away. But I love that spot because it was so close to the gym. It was like a 2-minute walk to the gym.
Man.
I would go to every morning. But then after about a couple weeks of parking the alternative spot, I risked it and went back to the old spot. No problem.
No problem after that.
So what I've learned from self-camping is that the spot, you either find a spot that works or doesn't work. If someone doesn't want you to be there, they'll let you know
right away.
Exactly. Right. So if you can park a couple nights in a spot, you're probably fine.
You're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's a good tip. There you go.
Yeah. And here's another tip. And I think this is a really good tip. And this is something I learned from another friend of mine that does van life. And so we were actually self-camping in the same city at the same time because we were both working on a project together. And he drives a Ford Econoline. It's a much bigger van, but it's far it's not in the best conditions.
Okay.
And in some ways it's stealthier. In some ways it's not stealthier than my van. So I got knocked on. That's the second time. So I got knocked on twice. The first time was in San Francisco. The second time I was in Upland, this is in LA. At least I think it's LA, like San Bernardino. It's right on the border of the county. And so I got knocked on, and I was like, crap, because we were parking in the same exact neighborhood. And then he didn't get knocked on. I was like, how the heck do I get knocked on and he doesn't? Right? But then he finally gets knocked on. But instead of answering the knock, he ignores it.
Oh.
He like, nope, not and wait, he played and the thing is, like, the cop knocking on the van, they don't, if it's all blocked out, there's no windows, how are they supposed to know that there's actually someone inside? Right? And so he just ignores it, knocks, and the person knocks, and then they go around, they try to open his door.
Ooh.
Right? Can't get in, nothing. And then they just leave his van alone. And so if you can trick the cops into thinking that there's no one in the car, they're just gonna leave you alone. The upset neighbor that doesn't want your van to be in your car, well,
they can't do anything.
Exactly. They're not gonna tow your car.
Yeah.
Right? Because the car is legally parked.
Yeah. That's true. Make sure you're in a street where you can park there, right?
No, exactly. As long as you park legally, your car should not be towed.
Yeah, well, that's good advice. That's a risk too,
No, I'm just like, because when he did that, I was like mind blown. I was like, wait, there's an option to not
open. Hey, wait, you don't know. You think that if just because someone's knocking, you have to.
Yeah, no, it's like totally like you think like there's only one way to go about one situation, but like You know, you can there's another path you could go down.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. And I was like, okay, next time I get knocked down, I'm just gonna ignore it.
Yeah.
You know?
Dang. Well, being an avid stealth, van, being out in the city, I feel like you've had experiences. Like, have you ever had a moment where you felt like, I guess, not safe being in the van, or where you're like, I don't know, like, I'm sure you scope out the area prior to staying there, but
so if you guys know anything about San Francisco, there are definitely not so safe parts of the city, and so I would keep my van far away from it's usually downtown. The Mission is also not that great, and in terms of my personal safety, no. Actually, for what I was most afraid of was just break-ins.
Yeah.
Because there's such a high break-in rate in San Francisco, and there's parts in like downtown and like the Mission that have a lot of frequent car break-ins, and so I was never I was concerned that someone would break into my car while I'm in the van.
In the van, yeah.
But I'm sure if the person breaking into my van realizes that I make my presence known, they'll just
leave, yeah.
So I wasn't totally afraid for my personal safety. It was just more so like I didn't want my stuff stolen.
Yeah.
And so that was most of my concern. And so what I would do is I would just keep my van parked in the safer parts of the city.
Good.
And I would then take public transportation to downtown and the Mission, which were the two places that I was working from when I was in the city.
Well, that's good to know. That's really nice, and especially, I mean, being your van is super stealthy. It's small. So this is the Nissan NV200.
Yep.
Look at this. And I know earlier you were mentioning gas mileage, and I was blown away because our Element does so poor on gas. And you were mentioning that you once actually got close to 38 miles per gallon, which is...
Yes, one time. That was only one time.
Wow.
But yeah, I can get easily 35 to 36. And I can get 32 without even trying. Like, in terms of like, this is highly dependent on how fast you go on the highway. You know how you are with coasting and braking. It's almost like a game. I gamify it. Like, it's like a high score.
What's the high score I can get on there?
So, I think on paper it's supposed to get like only 30 on the highway, but I've gotten 32 and up to 38.
Wow.
And so, but mixed city and highway, I get about 28. I think that right now I have about, that's what it says on my dash, right?
Yeah.
I have 28 miles per gallon.
Well, that's really good for this being your house on wheels.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking at the size of your van, like, you've really made good use out of every space you've had. Let me show you guys the front. And the side here. That's really awesome. And your solar panels are just so sleek, you can't even tell they're there. That's really cool.
Well, if you park right next to a house and they're on the second floor,
they know. They're like, there's something going on here.
Yeah. But if you're walking by, then yeah, you don't see them.
That looks good. Man, I can't believe your gas mileage on there. That's really good. That's actually gonna I think gonna really interest people in someone who's maybe considering getting a van. And a lot of Sprinter vans are really big, but
yeah, honestly, like if you do, I don't know how when people think of van life, I don't know how much they're thinking about living in a city full time or traveling. I think the traveling aspect of van life is what most people are familiar with. But if you're in the city full time, this is you can probably even go with a Element, right? If you want to do city full time, and it's not like you're hanging out in your car full time. It's just a sleeping part.
It's just a sleeping part, yeah.
Yeah, right. You're just in it at night, and then you spend your days mostly out, and so you don't spend that much time in your van. You're not lounging around. The cooking aspect is a little challenging with such a small space, but it is something like, for example, with that hot plate that I showed you.
Yeah.
And there's also I have a butane stove too. I can cook inside my van. I have the vent, so I can vent while I'm cooking in there. But other than the cooking part that is inconvenient, this is like the best size for just city camping.
And even I would assume, especially you being in the city, like parking, this is easy to get in and out of spots, maneuver.
Yeah, and even if people know that you're in your car, they almost kind of just ignore you because you're in such a small vehicle.
Yeah, they don't think too much of it, huh?
Right? It's like, I think some people are, it's like, I don't think I'm outsmarting every person every neighbor, like a person that's in the neighborhood that I'm looking at, but at least they don't mind as much because it's a smaller vehicle. If I was in like a Sprinter or like a Transit, like it would be obnoxious how big it is.
And you're taking up more space.
I'm basically taking the same amount of space as any vehicle that's parked on the street.
I mean, look, here's the Element, and this isn't that much bigger. Yeah, this is really cool.
It's about the same footprint.
Yeah, no, it really is.
This is probably a little longer, but in terms of height-wise, it's the same. It's probably smaller, like a Suburban or like any sort of like full-size SUV is probably bigger than this in terms of footprints.
Well, thank you, Evan, for giving us a tour of your van. We'll leave his channel in the description down below, so you guys can check out his YouTube video and his channel. So go over and support his channel. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.